Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you live around the world. We're back into this development of the geodesic dome, the octa-based or the square-based geodesic dome. We left off with the triangle from which we will create all the other iterations, the different frequencies. How do we do that? And that was my question. Paul Robinson from Geodome, he's a great asset, and he gave us the base upon which we can build, but didn't, for my investigation, go any further. He's actually bringing out a book, if not already out, a book which I will be purchasing, and one that I would recommend you purchase, because it's going to be so filled with the detail that you really need if you get into geodesic dome building. For what I'm doing is just the progression of my learning and the use of SketchUp, and the specific end use or goal of making a 4-point geodesic pergola or carport or gazebo. Okay, onwards. What we take from so we've got the vertices. We've got one line from vertice to vertice. That makes it of course a 1V, a 1 frequency dome. We want to make a 2 frequency dome, so we divide that line into 2, and the easiest way in this case is just to simply put a line from the middle point across to the middle point on the line there, and then down to the middle point there and back up there. You can tell it's the midpoint because the line or the cursor goes to a circle. You can equally, if you want, click into there, take the line and say let's divide it, and you can divide it into different divisions. And as you can see, when it's showing 2 segments, you can click on that, and that would be the line divided into 2, which is what we want. Once you've got this allows us to swing around here, and we draw a line from this point here where the 3 axes intersect, and draw a line from there to this point. Now I've just drawn up to that point, and I'm going to type in 1 meter. So I've got a 1 meter line. I'll do the same. I'll draw a line. I click on the intersection here, and then I just hover it without clicking. Type in my 1000 millimeters or my 1 meter, and I get the 1 meter line there. And I do it. I'll just get rid of that. It's unnecessary and more confusing than help. And I'll do the same thing from there up to that intersection, 1 meter. And we've got 3 lines that will be required for us to generate our 2V, a 2 frequency dome. I'm going to take select, and for those that are sharp-eyed, you'll notice that I had to double the number of selections to create that line, or that, badly worded, but because this wasn't grouped, it actually divided these lines, which is a bit of a pain in the bum, but nonetheless, we can finish up on this one. I'll double click that now, and or triple click. Now, less waffling, more drawing. We create a triangle by joining these 3 points. we do the same on these 3 points. Create a triangle. And the last one. And I'll group those together. And just to show what we're aiming for, I'll move them off to the side 3 meters. So that was our base upon which we created this. I think you can follow that, and I think you'll be able to follow what's going to happen next when we go to create a 3V dome. Now what I did there is I selected, rotated 90 degrees times 3, and I've created a 2V dome. I'll group those. And what this can become, if you wanted to, say, scale it up a little bit to whatever size you want, this time I'll just do it, multiply it by 300%, I've made a tent or a cover or whatever you want to call it. This will be, well, we'll measure, it'll be about 3 meters long, this line. So if you wanted to use say 100 by 50 millimeter timber, you'd probably be okay. If you want to make it a wee bit stiffer, you could, what Paul Robinson mentioned, a quasi higher frequency dome, by putting intermediate dwangs or nogs in between to stiffen it up. And that certainly would stiffen it up and make the 3 meter length of timber much more rigid. Now, I'll just explode that for a moment. Actually, I'll explode the grouping. What you can do is remove, must have over selected the or grouped the things there. You can make an opening. You can also infill it. I'm doing this for a specific reason, because when you look at it from the side, it's dead flush. The 3 points here is dead flush. Now this is important if you want to make a structure like I want to make, where it is effectively being supported by these triangles or these surfaces supporting the, what you might want to call the roof. So these are the supports and this is the roof. So if I come up here and select, I'll just have to redo that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh, gee whiz. As I said, I over grouped them. Okay, so I make them a group. I can delete some of these, and what we wind up with is our tent or our cover. And put Chris or Jeff or whatever his name is in here. So you can see in quick order you could make quite a nice structure for the backyard. The smaller version could have been for the kids to clamber around on, or make a small tent for them, or a gazebo for yourselves. Now this is a very chunky, very angular, but I think it could be done quite tastefully, and there's nothing to say that these surfaces have to be that size. It's just that they are this size for this particular dome. You could keep the top but alter the supports, the surface or triangles for your roof. There's nothing to say that you can't do that. You could take that one and swing it in slightly, or wherever you want to put it, and that would make the base a little bit smaller, but you then no longer have a flush surface here like you do have on this side. So that's one downside of that. Okay, equally, if you wanted to, I'll just hide Jeff. You could infill these or make flaps so that the door becomes a little bit more functional. You could cover them in with, we'll just might go and let's say this colour here, and make it quite transparent, so that you've got clear plastic here. I'll put Jeff right inside. And then you've got a nice enclosure for, well, for whatever purpose you want. So a 2V dome made from a 1V base model, and you can guess what we're going to be doing next. I won't be as wordy in that in the next one, but we'll make a 3V dome. Okay, that's it for just now. A bit chaotic in my explanation, but hopefully the information's there that you can follow. We will be repeating this process in a later video because I want to compare different versions of creating a geodesic dome. Okay, I'm off. I will see you in the next video. Hope to see you then. Bye.